Another practical tip, you give to him what would make you happy. Okay, so the way I seduce my wife, and I do all the time, is I stimulate a conversation. And sometimes I even have some little bit of a disagreement just so she can resist me. And then I just basically listen and I say, well, help me understand that better. Tell me more. Really? Well, that's a good point. I don't fully agree, but I really like what you're saying. It makes sense. Validate her point of view. And when I do that, when I get her to express her point of view and then I validate it, she's suddenly in love with me again. I mean, it's an amazing thing when women feel safe to resist, to say no, to express themselves, to be different, to be in harmony, to appreciate. When they feel safe to express it all, then estrogen levels go up. And estrogen lowers women's stress. All the research and everything we've been talking for the last 20 years about oxytocin. Then I discovered that why oxytocin, this brain chemical hormone in the brain, gets produced through affection and touch and romance. But the benefit of oxytocin is it will lower your testosterone so that your estrogen can go back up. Estrogen is this hormone that women need 10 times more estrogen than a man. And if she doesn't have 10 times more estrogen than him, then suddenly she'll look to him like he's a child. But it's when your estrogen levels go up, that's when you feel like, oh my God, I need his help. I can't do it myself. I need his love. I need his attention. I need his support. And today, if women were to listen into, if you took a woman 100 years ago and she was listening into a counseling session of mine with a woman complaining about her husband, that woman would say, why is she so needy? Why does she complain about this and this and this? He doesn't look at me. He doesn't touch me. He's not affectionate. He doesn't love me. The grandmother would be able to say, what are you talking about? He went to work to support you. Give him a break, But why is it women's needs seem so much greater? If they're not greater, they're for something else. Because once a woman is independent, she's on her male side. What does she get from a man is the support to come back to her female side. That's what men can do. And particularly the most powerful way to bring a woman back to her female side. I'm saying this to women so you can know what to get from a man, how to use him. I say to men, that's how you seduce a woman, is you listen to her. You ask questions. You say, tell me more. Tell me what else. Help me understand that better. And you stand in her shoes. Try to see the world through her eyes. Doesn't mean you have to agree. Doesn't mean you have to submit. Doesn't mean you have to obey. But basically to hear her is so, so important. Because whenever you're expressing how you feel, your female side increases. Whenever you're solving problems, fixing things, your male side increases. But feelings is just I'm sharing in order for you to come closer to me, to know what I'm thinking, to know what I'm feeling, to sort out how I'm thinking and feeling. You're a sounding board for me. It just feels so good to be able to share what's going on inside of me with somebody I know who loves me unconditionally. Wow, give a man that job to do. And sometimes it looks as simple as saying to him, I just need to talk for a few minutes. And now this isn't on your first date. This is when you're already in a relationship. But it's kind of like, oh, I get to talk to you. I just want to tell you about my day for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have to say anything. I just want to, vent for a few minutes and then I'll feel better. The key to this is then I'll feel better. That makes him sense that he's doing something because otherwise he thinks, well, why is she telling me about all these petty problems? And that's the secret. Is let yourself be upset because you are. It's inside about petty problems because they're all first world problems. They're all petty, but you're reacting that way. And part of this is you react to petty problems because it brings you back to your female side. That's how you connect with your female. And if you don't react to petty problems, then how do you come back to your female side? Because your brain's always wanting to find balance. What you do is you now build up a whole story of big problems. So we invent all these big problems in our head and make everything worse than it really is. And to justify having these emotional reactions that our brain is needing to come back as a woman, to come back to your female side, you need to connect with these emotions. So what I do is just teach women a simple technique, and you can do this with each other. You can do it in journaling, but start focusing on the little things in your life that are upsetting you and let yourself fully feel them. Because if you don't fully feel the little things, then you have to have big things to fully feel. It's because your brain needs to fully feel. It's connecting with your soul. You need to fully feel life. And so what happens is if you don't fully feel the little frustrations, the little disappointments, the concerns and worries that you have, if you don't fully feel them and let them go as a result of feeling them, then what occurs is there's a buildup and a buildup until your brain has to invent something really big to be upset about. So then you go, oh, I don't have a man in my life, so I'm so unhappy because of that, and I'm so lonely, as opposed to call up a girlfriend and tell her that today there was a lot of traffic on 101 and I couldn't get through, and use the emotional phrases. In my book, I go into great detail what's called a Venus talk. What do you feel frustrated about? I can take my wife any day. I'm frustrated the computer broke down. I'm frustrated I had to wait for the guy to fix it. I'm frustrated that they never do it right. I'm frustrated somebody came to my office and unplugged it and I either reset it. I feel frustrated. I could let my girl side talk. I'm frustrated my camera's not working today. There's all kinds of things that go on inside of us, and we don't pay any attention to them. We just push through. That's our male side. That's our detached side. What's the point in complaining? What's the point in whining? Get it done. Push it behind you. And the more successful a woman is, often the more better she is at detaching and getting the job done. But there's another part of life that says, well, how did that feel? Just to the point of connecting to the reactions inside. Frustrations, disappointments. I'm disappointed. This didn't happen. I didn't make this money. I thought someone was going to call. They didn't call. Just little things. I'm disappointed. I had to rush instead of being able to have time to go to my yoga session. I'm disappointed. Let yourself feel those little vibrations and give words to them. Identify them. And what that does, it connects the front part of the brain to the middle part of the brain, to where the front part of your brain, which is in present time, and the middle part of your brain is always in the past. And so it's all of our past issues that we keep bringing into the now, because that guy left me, I'm alone, or because I lost that money, I can't buy this car, because I didn't get paid that. We're always using our past to justify our suffering. But if you can be in a little suffering in the moment, it trains your brain to stay in the moment and let go of the past. So you can be fresh and you can enjoy who you're with and what you're doing. It's coming in the present time by bringing up feelings that have to do with present time that are little. Train yourself to feel your emotions when they're little, because if you don't feel them when they're little, that's just feeling authentic, being yourself. Then they have to become really big, that knock on the door and pound on you, and you have to the brain gets addicted to remembering bad things to justify your emotions. Because if you were to share your emotions with somebody, to a guy, he would just say something like, you're making a big deal out of it, So what if 101 is traffic? We chose to live here. There's benefits of being here. So why are you complaining about it? Oh, I'm not really complaining. I just need to air it out and then I'll feel better. And I'm so glad you're listening. Just to be able to use a guy as a sounding board. And if you don't have a guy to do it, use a girlfriend and do it back and forth. But when you do it with a guy, it connects you more with estrogen. There's just something about you. If a guy can hear you and validate your feelings, you just connected with the other half of the world. Because women are cut off. That feeling part of you is like guys won't understand. And they won't. But they can connect with emotions. If you just say, you don't have to fix it, you don't have to solve it, but just share some of your feelings. And then always comfort him by going, oh, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to be fine. But it feels so good to have you listen. It makes me feel better. I feel closer to you.